There is something very serious that is happening to Nigeria right now that most Nigerians are not aware of. This man has been able to connect a lot of dots of the kind of geopolitical game that Nigeria and Bola Ahmed Tinubu is being played right now from the US. Listen to what this man is saying. You will understand some of the things Nigeria is walking into gradually, unknowingly. From now, the US has now confirmed the deployment of over 200 troops to Nigeria. They've also confirmed the application to build a drone refueling air base in Nigeria. They've also confirmed that the US court has ordered the release of Tinubu's record. So many things. Just listen to this man.
Fresh US court wahala for Tinubu. About 24 hours ago, I told you, US troops are now on Nigerian soil. Yesterday, something has moved. The United States Federal Court has ordered the FBI and Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, to release records related to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Nigeria. Let us be precise. The case in question is titled, let me give you the title of the case, United States versus Bola Ahmed Tinubu for future proceedings, Northern District of Illinois, 1993. That was the case. That is not a rumor. That is a federal case. Yesterday, a federal court weighed in. Now, because some of you are asking, what exactly was this about? I'll quote directly, so that's not my words, from Daily Trust, one of Nigeria's most established newspapers, Daily Trust, according to Daily Trust. Yesterday, Monday, quote, Tinubu was said to have forfeited $460,000 to the American government in 1993 after authorities linked the funds to proceedings of narcotics trafficking. Narcotics trafficking! And further, quote, at the Presidential Election Petition Court, the issue of Tinubu's forfeiture of the funds featured prominently when his opponents Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi challenged the president's eligibility to contest Nigeria's presidency, unquote, unquote. None of this is my words. Those are direct quotations. Now, let us be clear, because I like to be thorough and to be accurate. This was a civil forfeiture proceedings in the United States. Clearly, it was not, had nothing to do with Nigeria in terms of this. It did not happen in Nigeria, it happened in the US. President Tinubu has denied wrongdoing. Those are the facts. But here is where it becomes geopolitical, not historical. Why is a US federal judge in 2026, this February, just yesterday, ordering the FBI and the DEA to release additional related records? Why? Ask yourself. Why is this moving now at this particular moment in geopolitics? Timing matters in politics. Let us line up the timeline. I'm going to carefully line up the timeline. Please bring out your pen and paper and start writing. Sokoto is bombed. The Caliphate is bombed by Tomahawk missiles sent by Trump. Sokoto Caliphate. The First Lady, Remi Tinubu, shows up in Washington, D.C. The next thing, U.S. troops land in Nigeria, and then people are taking pictures everywhere, photo up, plenty pictures taken with Tinubu, usually surrounded by Americans. And now, yesterday, U.S. courts move. And suddenly, a state visit to the United Kingdom is arranged. Let us pause here and talk about standards. Suddenly, Tinubu wants to go and meet the king in UK. In Britain, the royal family, as we speak, has faced and is continuing to face intense public scrutiny over Prince Andrew's ties to Jeffrey Epstein. King Charles has had to navigate calls for transparency and accountability, even within his own family. Prince Andrew is his brother. That is how institutions protect credibility. So the king is scrambling here. He's telling police, come and investigate my brother, I have nothing to do with this. They submit to scrutiny. Then people to Nigeria. People to that Nigerian president who is going to visit King Andrew now. So as His Majesty prefers, as he prepares to meet Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu, Nigerians then are wondering, they're entitled to ask a simple question. This is somebody willing to tell his brother to face justice? Does accountability apply universally? Does it? If Western institutions can withstand the investigation of their own elites, this is the king's brother. We decide to remove from him. Should African leaders be treated differently? If there are court records in the United States still being contested, court records involving Bola Tinubu and released in 2026, does that raise legitimate questions about transparency? Ladies and gentlemen, diplomacy cannot be a shield against scrutiny. Just give it to somebody, how are you, your excellency? That's not a shield against scrutiny. Nigerians are not asking the King of England, King Charles, to prosecute anybody. Nigerians are asking for equal standards for everybody. If accountability is a principle in London, you should not disappear when African leaders like Tinubu arrive to come and take picture to show that they are close to the king and close to the UK. That should not happen. If I were the king, myself, that's me, I'll pull Tinubu aside and say to him, what is in this court document involving you and this federal judge in the US that the man was released? So for purposes of transparency, tell me, please. That's me, that's what I would do. I'm not telling you what I would do. That is what I would do if I were the king. Ladies and gentlemen, sovereignty does not mean immunity from scrutiny. It means strength under scrutiny. That's what it means. And on the other hand, by the way, where is the direct engagement with the President of the United States? President Donald Trump. Why is Tinubu not meeting President Trump? People have wondered. He seems to be meeting with everybody. If the relationship between Nigeria and the UK is strong, well, that's what some of Tinubu say, no problem. Everything we are doing together, we are cooperating. If they are strong, as some of Tinubu supporters claim, why not bilateral summit at the highest level? This is the most crisis I've seen between Nigeria and the US. Why not have a summit? Why no Trump-Tinubu meeting? Why intermediaries? Why send middlemen? Why choreography? In international politics, access is power. Absence of access is also a signal. This is not about 1993, ladies and gentlemen. This is about leverage in 2026. Simple. When the sitting president has a long-standing and politically contentious legal history in US court records, that continues to generate political and judicial scrutiny. Even if civil, even if long ago, it creates reputational vulnerability for the president. And reputational vulnerability affects negotiating strength. I'm saying this so the president Bola Tinubu will understand. That is not an accusation. It is diplomatic reality. Since he runs Nigeria, Nigerians are entitled to ask him questions. He's not a king. In Abuja, is Abuja negotiating from strength, really? Especially on issues like US troop presence, counter-terror operations, all this. Are they really operating from strength? Or are they being forced to do this? Are they operating from constraints? Things that are holding the president. If there's nothing further of concern in these records in US court about anybody, a full release should settle the matter. Let it be fully released. They do not pretend. There's simultaneous military movement, court pressure, and urgent diplomatic choreography are all related. All these things are related to each other. Too many things are moving at once. Too many moving parts. And Nigerians deserve clarity. This is not personal. This is institutional. A sovereign nation like Nigeria must not operate under whispered leverage. Whisper, whisper, whisper. This is my message for Asiwaju, the president of Nigeria. If you as Nigerian president cannot sit one-on-one, or if you as Nigerian president can sit one-on-one rather with global leaders like the King of England in London, then you should be able to sit one-on-one with the president of the United States. Why not? That's the one that will actually bomb your own country. If the president cannot, Nigeria deserves to know why. Let him tell us why. Not slogans, not surrogates, not grammar, not State House press release by Bayo Onanuga. If Trump has refused to meet with him, tell us the man doesn't want to meet with me. Nigeria can take it. Subscribe, comment, push notifications. This is the Ofion Show. We don't just report events. We track where they lead. I am and remain the voice of the voiceless. Your independent voice. That's what I'm doing today. Telling fearless truths. I do this every day. And sometimes laughing at the failing and inept Nigerian power while doing this. I do laugh them sometimes. I am Ofion Akwa. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Make we go.